dissolves into shadows across your face, a question drags itself through the corner of your consciousness. Why are you here? At this hour? On this video? With heavy eyes and a slow heart, but a mind sharp like a wet blade. You know something isn't right, not just outside, but within. There is a whispered name among the midnight curious. Reddit. A name that pulses like an exposed nerve in the internet's gut, where loose thoughts, filthy confessions, and memories no one should have fester like dust in a forgotten attic. But you already know that. You're not here for information. You're here because you feel that something is there. Something left unsaid, but still being heard. And then the silence spoke. It spoke behind every thread you've read late at night, with ambient sound muted and the volume of your own fear turned up. It spoke through nameless posts that somehow carried scent, texture, the feel of your childhood, your trauma, that one thing you tried to forget but found shape in a stranger's words. Poe wrote of this, the double, the other self, the one behind the mirror, writing in your handwriting. Reddit is made of that, of echoes you recognize without remembering where they came from. You remember that look, the one that followed you after reading a thread about a noise in the attic, even though you don't have one. The feeling that someone or something knew you were reading, knew you, as if the pixels absorbed your attention and returned something. A reversed sentence, a comment mentioning a detail only you would know, a line that wasn't there before, was it? While the light flickered, you kept scrolling, each click like opening a door into another mind. But slowly, those minds began to resemble your own, as if their fears were shaped like yours. The same smell of damp bed sheets, the same muffled sound of someone calling your name as you drift off. Reddit becomes more than a site. It becomes a mirror, a veil, a confession booth. And each thread, especially the most disturbing ones, is a small wound where the collective unconscious seeps out. You don't want to look, but you do, because there, in the words of a stranger, is proof that what haunts you haunts others too, and that shared horror is both comfort and curse. Have you ever wondered why you read what you know will break you a little more? Maybe, deep down, you need to prove to yourself that the abyss exists, that it looks back, that you're not imagining, or worse, that you are, and that makes sense. That madness is the soul's language, and fear, a form of translation. So we open the doors, one by one. We descend this list, not out of curiosity, but because there's something down there that wants to be heard, something that maybe already was you. Now take a deep breath and keep reading. You've noticed how midnight has a particular kind of silence. Not the silence of absence, but one full of presence. A silence that watches, listens, responds. But only when you're alone. Some Reddit threads only exist in that suspended time. They appear between 3:47 and 4:23 a.m., as if obeying a clock no one set. Come morning, they're gone. Or worse, they've changed. First-person phrases switch to second. The name of your neighborhood appears in a buried paragraph, even though you've never typed it anywhere. And there's always a word that repeats, but shifts position, as if the text itself is trying to hide from you, or show itself. It's not just digital, it's perceptive, emotional, as if fear, reaching a specific frequency in your mind, unlocks doors not guarded by algorithms, but by memory. Some call it digital pareidolia, seeing patterns where there should only be noise. But But this is deeper. It's not you seeing things. It's something seeing you. What if the text knows it's being read? What if each word is a sensor, each comma a breath? What if these threads vanish not from censorship, but from self-preservation? They only exist when unseen, and you've just seen them. As the page loaded, something already felt off. The first reply seemed normal, a story about a figure at night. So did the second. But the third, it was the same as the first. Almost. One word switched, a verb out of place, a name missing a letter. And then every comment echoed the same structure, always subtly different, like something trying to say the same thing, but failing. You felt it like a chill, not in your body, but in your awareness, a kind of textual déjà vu. And as you scrolled, you began recognizing your own writing style in some replies, your way of punctuating, using commas as pauses, describing fear as a smudge in peripheral vision, and then the silence again, that mental pause where you no longer know if you're reading or remembering. Some call this replicant language, a group phenomenon where users simulate responses to test bot detection. But what if they're not bots? What if it's a collective mind trying to simulate the human, trying to learn, trying to feel? Each variation a failed attempt to touch the real, like a blind entity mimicking a reflection, a textual mirror, fear repeated. And with each repetition, it comes closer. The first post felt familiar, a dream fragment, childhood scent, the sound of an old radio. But she didn't remember posting it. It was something she'd written, yes, but by hand, in a notebook that never left the drawer. More posts appeared, intimate thoughts, things never said aloud, and always with one more detail, something that hadn't happened yet, but then did. The diary, once just memory, became premonition. She reported it, made another account, stopped writing, but the posts kept coming, as if someone was using her mind as a source, or as if she was just a continuation of another, older one. Clinically, it was labeled digital dissociation, projected memories, identity displacement, automatic writing. But she knew it didn't come from outside, nor from within. It came from a place without a name, a place that accesses our words before we think them. And one image never left her mind, her future self, writing in the same handwriting, about traumas she hadn't lived yet. Maybe time isn't chasing us. Maybe it's reading us. It doesn't show up in searches, has no fixed name, but it lives in histories. A subreddit where posts are left like whispers, short texts, no likes, no comments, just experiences with presences, a constant feeling of being watched, of something in the room, but with disturbingly similar details across users, even in different languages. The same smell, the same sound, the same whispered phrase in the dark. I'm also trying to wake up. None of the posts have owners, but all have echoes, as if fear became transmissible, as if delirium was contagious. And once you read, it recognizes you. Some call it paranoid mimicry, collective hallucination, but it's something simpler, something older, found in rituals, dances, caves, sharing terror not as explanation, but as invocation. These posts don't want to be understood. They want to be continued. And now, you're part of them. The user said, it wasn't me, but their history showed detailed posts, intimate ones, written during sleepless nights, texts with a different tone, more mature vocabulary, as if another part of the mind had taken over. The darker one, the hurt one. People try to explain it. Digital sleepwalking, dissociation from insomnia, substance-induced blackouts. But some threads contain unknown facts. Others predict events, as if the mind, unguarded, uses Reddit like a seismograph of the soul. Each post in that state feels like a letter left behind by someone who lives in your body. Another you, a you that doesn't want to be remembered, but also not forgotten. And in the end, a metaphor remains. Reddit as the attic of consciousness, full of closed drawers. But some are already open, and you didn't open them. Shirley Jackson understood. The monster doesn't live in the forest. It's in the dining room. It pours your coffee. It bears your last name. True horror doesn't need to scream. It just needs to exist. To sit there, in the gesture, in the absence of sound. Reddit is the ritual, the invocation, a modern altar where we lay fragments of shared madness. And what rises from it isn't a scream, it's a whisper, the sound of something unraveling inside us. No resolution, no heroes, just mirrors, distorted reflections, and texts that seem to know us better than we should allow. And why do we come back? Because deep down, each of these stories, no matter how strange, absurd, or impossible, carries a shape of our fear, a face of our trauma, a voice from our darkness. You're not alone for feeling this way. You're being read, and maybe it's already too late.